close in every round. Will this be his round to break through? As we take a look at the start list for round 4, a few names that we haven't seen so far this summer. Isaac Smith makes his debut in the top flight of competition, but of course, well, one of the greatest endurance athletes this country's ever seen. Kane Eckstein, the 5-time Coolangatta Gold champion. He is back in his first professional race for a long time. The format suits him. He's had a long time between drinks, Jack. Can he make it? Well, an incredible comeback right here, right now.
Well, Isaac Smith, Josh, as you said, makes his debut. He's part of the Habs chapter, the husbands and boyfriends, dating Lizzie Wellborn. He's realistically just her handbag, but he's done a great job to get himself into this Ironman final.
Well, the boy known as Pup, he will have a blast here today, and he's copped one from you, so I'm sure he'll come looking for you after the race. The boys are on and away. They didn't split like the girls did early in the surf race, and they didn't have as much trouble. Probably Corey Taylor had the most trouble, the man from Northcliffe, to get across that bank, so maybe he'll have to take some advice from his girlfriend there, Bree Masters, who's one of the quickest across the sand. The guys are in and under a few at the moment. Looks like Matt Poole on the far right-hand side once again likes to go his own way. He doesn't really like to listen to too many people and has a few interesting ideas about getting out in the surf, and it looks like the far right-hand side is his line. The rest of the field has taken, well, a reasonably similar kind of path, and we can see where that white water isn't. That's the water rushing out in a bit of a rip at the moment. So I think the left-hand side, once again, probably, well, the best option here, but very even early on.
Well, through the middle, it was the girls who went to the middle that led the way out in that first M-shaped swim, and it looks like the boys are doing exactly the same. We can't pick up the caps at this stage, but they are all very close together, and it looks like it might be a Currumbin cap, so maybe Jackson Maynard, who's pushing the pace out in front and working very well through this Fairhaven swell.
A little bit of trouble there. Shannon Eckstein as well. He's in the Northcliffe cap, the white with the maroon star. A very good stroke for surf swimming. Not the longest stroke you'll ever see, but technically very sound, very efficient, and he has gone to the front at the moment, and alongside him, Jackson Maynard. They just copped one ever so slightly on the back at the moment. Ali Day, he's in the blue cap with the yellow star. Max Brooks goes underneath one, as does Isaac Smith there, so trying to work their way into this race, but they're 3 body lengths off the lead and getting hammered as we see what it's like for these guys to cop waves on the head as they come round. On the far right-hand side, Poole, he's in an even line for second place, but with about 8 other guys, so maybe that far right-hand line didn't pay off for the Kurrawa competitor.
Well, these waves are breaking out the back, and the benefit of being out in front in the leaders is they get under them just before or as they break. Not as much turbulence in the wave at that stage, and the back markers then get hit as the wave breaks even heavier, and Shannon Eckstein out back in front where he belongs, where he spent so much of his career. He's really setting this race up for the win.
A race like this plays into Shannon Eckstein's hands. He's definitely not the fastest of all these guys through the water. He's a little bit older than them. He's been around the block. He's carrying some injuries. He is 100% the most skillful, and he 100% makes the best decisions. And as we saw in the women's race, it was all about making decisions and not making mistakes, and that is what Shannon Eckstein has always done and will always do better than whoever he races.
Well, this racing is all about weaving your path. We saw it in the women's race. You might go to the front as a little wave comes through and breaks on the cans. That'll mix the boys up a little bit. They've got to make sure they get around the green and gold. If you don't go round, you're in all sorts of trouble, and you will be disqualified from the event. So there we go. They're all around now. It looked like a Manly cap.
Wave on. It's forget out the back. It's out in front where things have got interesting. There's 3, 4, 5 on it. We can see them getting thrown around. 1 pops out in front. 2 go off the back. Who will be there when it all comes out in the wash? It looks like 4 on this wave. Then there's Jaggers out the back as well. They're falling from the clouds, so dial it up. We've got jagging here. They're all over the place, and one man has held it longer than the rest. We'll have to wait and see who that is on the way in. Ali Day is definitely in second place there. He's very distinguishable stroke, and one man has put on an absolute clinic of body surfing out in front. One of the best body surfing performances you will ever see, and who would have thought it's Jackson Maynard out in front like this? What a performance from the man from Currumbin.
Well, never won a Kellogg's round, and could he be setting this one up early for a victory? Jackson Maynard works through that deep gutter now. He's swimming through. It's very difficult water through there. The water's sucking back out to sea, and as Maynard gets up onto his feet, he's got probably a 10 to 15 metre gap on the rest.
Ali Day in second place. We can see him just starting to to duck dive. Kendrick Louis there as well. So some heavy hitters of surf sports in the second, third and fourth slots after the first round. But I wouldn't worry about it all that much because there's plenty of changes still to come. That tide's gone out ever so slightly since the girls' race, making it a little bit easier. And Shannon Eckstein, he's moved his way up into third place. I think we're seeing the Shannon Eckstein of old early on. Max Brooks goes down. Oh, it looks like he's been shot by a sniper. He goes down at the moment. Hayden White's there as well. Jai Timperley, Kane Eckstein and Matt Poole, they are all in the top half of this race, but they've got plenty of work to do.
There's Isaac Smith, James Lacey, and it looks like Nath Gray, so one of the pre-qualifiers, back a little bit in the field, as is Luke Cuff coming around now. Matt Bevelak was there also with plenty of work to do.
Very, very tough. TJ Hendy, Max Beattie, he goes around. Corey Taylor, Jackson Borg in one of his first races in the top flight competition. He is a long, long way down. Simon Murphy making his debut. And then it is the man they call Butterbean, Jay Finesse. He works his way around in last place at the moment, but he's got a big swim leg to come up and plenty of time to work his way back into the field. And the crazy thing was, no matter how many waves came through there and how good the body surfing was, Shannon Eckstein was still in the mix. Kendry Louis and Ali Day, these good guys at the top level of competition, they know how to get it done regardless of the level of surf.
Well, the boys now are a little bit more spread than that first M-shaped swim. Some to the right-hand side of the screen, others to the left. Now, we saw Lizzie Wellborn go straight in the women's. It looks as though someone's picked that straight line as well, but it'll be interesting to see who gets the closest to the can and who can hit it first.
Yeah, that was it. It really didn't work for Wellborn early on. It probably didn't work for Matty Poole in the opening swim leg of the men's, but it was still Jackson Maynard leading on the way round. I think Ali Day's possibly swum to the lead here. It looks like that long looping stroke of Ali Day's, and he's really lifting the rating. That's probably the highest rating I've ever seen from Ali Day this early in a race. Jackson Maynard there working very, very hard as well to get himself through the break and out into cold water. And he's got such a good board leg here that if these guys let someone like Jackson Maynard go, he can very easily break this race wide open and establish himself an unbeatable lead.
Well, I think it is Maynard that's our leader, Josh, at the moment. We see him chopping through this Fairhaven break, and he's almost out into clean water. Up and under that one, he goes over the little double up under the white water, and now starting to hit that green water, but the sets still roll through. They're still holding up Jackson Maynard and our back markers.
Imagine how tough this is for these guys. Not only have they swum well, close to 500 metres in the opening half of the swim, they're then having to hold their breath for, well, 20, 30 seconds at a time and getting full-blown washing machine and ragdolled by the ocean and still trying to race the rest of these competitors. It's one of the toughest things to do in surf sports. So it's Maynard on the right-hand side. It looks like possibly Shannon Eckstein from Ali Day in second and third place. Plenty of work to do back here. Hayden White, Jai Timperley from the Currumbin Club trying to hang on. It looks like Lacey's trying to work his way into it as well. Strong across the board at the moment. Kane Eckstein's in the mix. Matt Poole trying to work his way with Luke Cuff as well. So they're very, very strung out, but they've all taken the same, well, reasonably the same line out to that first can. And this field of 20 is strung out as the can gets cleaned up again and makes it very tough for the boys to get round. And if you can time that perfectly, you might swim well just a little bit shorter.
Josh, in the last 40 or 50 metres to the can, it was Shannon Eckstein who was a huge mover. He brought the kick in, he swam away from Ali Day and went up beside and past Jackson Maynard, who was our early leader. So Shannon Eckstein, his skills are unbelievable. We saw him on the way out there work under a wave, come up from well behind Ali Day to well in front. So that's the importance of getting down deep and holding that breath. And now
here we go.
Could be the only one on this lead wave.
And he's picked it up. Unbelievable stuff from Shannon Eckstein. I think there's two on there. There's two on that wave at the moment. One's just dropped off. One's managed to hold on, and it's definitely Shannon Eckstein out in front. Matt Poole can tell you that backstroke anywhere because he does it a lot. They're waiting for waves here, and there is not much on offer at the moment. The rest of Kendrick Louis trying to swim in, and a couple of the other competitors look like they might just get down. This one, will they? No. Matt Poole tries to get down, and he gets a very good wave. But out in front, our leader, Shannon Eckstein, just like that, he's gone to the front, and he's not 100% fit either. He's still carrying that ankle injury that hampered him so much in North Wollongong in round 3. He's done a lot of rehab on it. He's done a lot of work to get over it, but he is not 100% fit, and that's a scary thought for these competitors, because if he can get 100% fit, that second half of the summer will be all his.
Well, he's pretty lucky that in this event, the M-Shape Enduro, a lot of the work is out in the water. It's going to come down to his skills and his time on the craft. From now on, it's now the board M, then the ski M to come. So Shannon Eckstein, very strong at absolutely every leg, isn't going to have to worry about too much running.
And you'll definitely won't see him run too hard through these transitions here. He'll try and save it up, try and work through the break, and that's where he'll try and get away from the likes of Ali Day. But I guarantee when you see Ali Day get up, he'll have a spring in his step. He'll be chasing very, very hard through transition. But once again, it's a scene we've seen for so long, the last decade at least. Shannon Eckstein out in front, and then the rest of the field chasing hard, hoping he makes a mistake as he heads out, picks up that famous orange and green board of his and starts to work his way in. But this race is far from over. Ali Day cruising along there. We know he's going to get better as the race goes on. He's an endurance animal. He's tied the record in the Coolangatta Gold, and he beat this man, Shannon Eckstein, who took the race on for the first time in a long time. So we know Ali's going to have the best of it late in the race, but can anybody else in this field work their way into it? Can they get up into the top three? Max Brooks is having another blinder there. Jackson Maynard as well. So he had a great early swim. Ali Day's onto the board and chasing hard, but neither of the men look like they're hurting all that much.
Well, Brooks finished top 2 in our M-Shape Enduro, which was also an eliminator at Coolum. Very similar conditions, and Brooks looks like he's having a very similar day. It was this man who finished in front of him, and now Brooks is trying to chase him down once again.
Jackson Maynard's been more of an explosive racer over the last couple of years, but very highly skilled, and I think that's probably why he's having so much success. He's probably more comfortable over the shorter format, but he definitely does well when it comes down to skill and experience in the surf. James Lacey, Matt Poole make their way in at the moment. Jai Timperley's there as well. Luke Cuff, look from a big move from him. Luke Cuff, one of the best board paddlers, well, of all time, because he can make a board move like nobody else, and he loves the big conditions as they work their way through. But our leader out in front, Shannon Eckstein, are we seeing the comeback of the king?
Well, he has to roll under that one there, so he makes his decision to roll, which means that the wave was too big for Shannon to pop. He goes up and over the next one and gets through. So Shannon working his way through this Fairhaven swell very, very well at this stage. He looks as though he's into green water, but if he's too unlucky, a set may still roll through. So this break almost 150, 200 metres long for these boys to try and negotiate.
Well, that right there was the difference between Shannon Eckstein and everyone else. We saw Lana Rogers roll one in the women's race and then immediately have to roll a second one. Rolling's obviously slower than popping up over it. Shannon rolled the first one, but he made sure he got himself back on and popped over the second wave and didn't make the same mistake or the slower option twice in a row. That's why he's been the greatest in the last 10 years and possibly the greatest of all time. As our competitors in 3 and 4, that is Max Brooks and Jackson Maynard. Try and get themselves into green water and work themselves up towards the tail of Ali Day. But there's a wave out the back, and Shannon Eckstein will definitely pick this one up. He's down on the stomach. He knows it's a big one. He's not even inside the break there, and when things are going right, things are going right. Shannon Eckstein gets away from almost the back of the break, and his lead will go from, well, 150 metres to well over 500, and it's just a matter of whether Ali Day can close that gap. Can he? Yes, he can. He gets a wave and, well, leaves himself open, leaves the chance open that he can make an impact in this race.
Well, if your rival gets a wave away, you need to make sure you're on the next one to stay close. Otherwise, they are moving far faster than you can paddle or swim, either a board or a ski. So Shannon Eckstein now about to hit the beach, halfway through this M-Shape Enduro. He's got a good lead on Ali Day.
We can see the handlers getting the skis ready on the beach. Of course, it is swim, board, ski, the order. Jackson Maynard pushes over the top of one. He gets a little one away from Max Brooks, and, well, someone's picked one up from the outside as well. So a big paddle there from Matty Poole. He's getting himself back into this one. He's really fighting hard after a week away on a camp in Thailand. So it's good to see him get himself back into the mix here, into the top 5, and it's been a difficult summer so far. Is that Max Beattie, who gets a nice little wave as well a little bit further back. Luke Cuff's there. Kendrick Louie's got a bit of work to do, and James Lacey as well. So that's 6, 7 and 8 at the moment, but we can see the gap so far. Out in front, Shannon Eckstein in 1, Ali Day in 2, Jackson Maynard 3, from Max Brooks in 4. That's your top 4, and then the rest of the field's very tightly bunched, and if they're not careful, Jack, this is going to get away from the field here, and it's going to be Shannon Eckstein who gets away with this one. And you can see how far behind Jackson Maynard is in third place. He's just making his way through the transition of the board leg at the moment, with Matt Poole hot on his heels ahead of Max Brooks. So a great paddle from Matty Poole there, but this could be all over Red Rover before we know it.
Well, you can't afford to give the greatest of all time, Shannon Eckstein, a head start at any stage, let alone in these tricky conditions of Fairhaven.
Unbelievable stuff from these guys. Kenry Louis looks sprightly at the halfway mark. James Lacey there as well. Jai Timperley goes around. Luke Cuff, he's had a big paddle to go past a couple as well. A little bit further back, TJ Hendy trying to get himself back into this one and keep his hopes of a series podium alive. But it's all this man on the front at the moment. Shannon Eckstein looks like he's doing it comfortably, and the Ocean is obliging at Fairhaven. They've opened up for him. Matt Bevilacqua sitting on the edge of the top 10, but have a look behind him. There's 2, 4, 6 on the next wave here, including Hayden White. Kane Eckstein's there as well. Isaac Smith, Corey Taylor's in the mix. So Nathan Gray, very tough stuff from these competitors, and this is going to be very, very interesting as we go into the second half of the Enduro format. This is round 4 of the Ocean 6 and the Kellogg's Nutrigrain Ironman Series. Welcome back to round 4 of Ocean 6 and the Nutrigrain Ironman Series. We're at the halfway mark of the Enduro M-shaped format, and it's Shannon Eckstein way out in front of this man, Ali Day. He's got a bit of a gap as well back to Jackson Maynard, Max Brooks and Matt Poole, who are all fighting it out for third place at the moment, and then the rest of the field is strung out. We've had the swim, we're halfway through the board, we've just got the ski to go, and Shannon Eckstein, he's trying to stamp his authority on this one because he is already around the turning can. The rest of the field, they're only just making their way through the break.
Well, Shannon Eckstein, the hunted, Ali Day, the hunter, trying to chase him down, and at this stage a lot of the rest of the field still working their way through the break, but it's our leader Shannon Eckstein who's around and about to pick up a wave as he comes back past Matt Poole on the way out.
It's got to be heartbreaking for the rest of the field to see the leader work their way in, and Matt Poole's probably been the most impressive after that first opening swim leg. He tried something different, it didn't pay off, and he's really worked his way through the field, but this man's been impressive from the outset, and we can see how easily he's doing it at the moment. That is a ticket to ride from the back. Ali Day trying to get down, and he's going to get down very, very late. No, he doesn't. He sits up, turns around, and there's nothing on offer there. And in all my years of racing, I don't think I've ever seen Ali Day get really frustrated, but there might have been a hint of frustration on his face after that one.
Well, knowing that Shannon Eckstein was on a big set from right out the back, Ali Day now has more of a gap he needs to close going into the final ski leg, the M-shape Enduro. Ali Day has plenty of work to do to close this gap on Shannon Eckstein.
You called it very early on in the women's race that it was all over heading into the final ski leg. I don't know if this one's over, but if you give somebody like this a massive lead, he's not going to make mistakes. He very rarely makes any mistakes at all. And when it comes to negotiating a break like this, Shannon Eckstein will be your best bet to get through it. But this race is definitely not over as their waves are coming for the back markers. Jai Timperley comes flying down one, the boy from Currumbin. Matt Poole's down one, Jackson Maynard, and I'm sure Max Brooks is on it as well. So they're trying to chase Ali Day, who still hasn't entered transition as Shannon Eckstein's on the way out.
So Ali Day hitting the transition now. We see him running up and around the light sand on the left-hand side of screen. Shannon Eckstein is on his ski, making his way out or starting to get into his stroke. So Ali Day has plenty of work to do. But if he is lucky enough, if Shannon Eckstein gets hit by one of these sets, it will most certainly hold him up.
Max Brooks working very, very hard on the way home as well with the rest of the field. So he's on that way for third place. There's 4 of them there. Brooks, Timperley, Poole, and of course Jackson Maynard, who's on the outside there as well. We can see they've hit transition and they're going like the Light Brigade. There's 3 on the wave behind as well. And the man we're worried about though, Shannon Eckstein, he's almost in green water, but he's not in the clear just yet. A few sets continue to roll through. He goes up and over another one, and it's Timperley from Maynard, the training partners under Michael King at Currumbin. They are in 3rd and 4th. Poole is in 5th, a strong performance so far. Max Brooks is in 6th, and there's a slight gap back. It looks like maybe Luke Cuff. Yes, it is. What a performance from Luke Cuff on the board. He's done a good job there from his training partner, James Lacey, Max Beattie, and Kendrick Louis. So that is your top 9 at the moment as they work their way through transition and onto the final leg.
Well, Max Brooks has dropped 3 or 4 places, Josh, from his early positioning tucked up there with Ali Day, as Shannon Eckstein looks as though he's out into clean green water. Ali Day about to get hit by that wave that Shannon just went up and over. So Shannon out the back on the ski through the first M. He is now going past some board paddlers who are still on their first M-shaped board.
Unbelievable stuff. And Ali Day, he goes up and over, gets a little bit of air. And the one big difference between men and women is that natural physical strength that the men have. They're able just to hold the ski a little bit straighter on those bigger waves. So you wouldn't expect to see too many of them slew. But when you got the likes of Danielle McKenzie who can hold the ski very straight, or Harriet Brown, Lizzie Wellborn, if they're going sideways, I guarantee some of the men will as well. Bevel Akbar, he is a long way down, just sitting on the edge of the top 10, and he could be saying goodbye to his series right here, right now, if he doesn't get a wriggle on. We see the boys at the bottom of the screen. They're forced to stop. The surf's too big. They can't always go forward, so that's just going to let our 2 leaders go further and further in front. Timperley and Maynard have no dramas negotiating that, even though they had to stop, but Shannon Eckstein's turned, and this is where the gap's really going to open up. The surf ski is the fastest man-powered craft in the ocean, and it is going to absolutely fly in conditions like this, and that gap's going to go from big to huge to giant in a matter of moments.
Well, Matt Poole's still negotiating the break. It was interesting to note it was Timperley and Maynard who had to stop, sit and wait. Maynard got the rating up though before the wave broke, or before the wave got to him. Timperley not so much, and these skis are designed to go over the top of waves at speed. If you're sitting still, you will end up going backwards, and that's exactly what happened to Jai Timperley.
Is that just a little bit more experience with Jackson Maynard? He's probably had 3 or 4 more, maybe even more years in the top flight competition, and he just knows what to do in pressure situations. All these guys, if you take the pressure of racing away, the pressure of chasing Shannon Eckstein, they know what to do, but do it in that high pressure, all or nothing environment, and makes making the right choices very, very tough, as Jackson Borg and Hayden White are still going out. Shannon Eckstein just gets a little bit sideways, but brings it back round as he continues to go past a couple of his rivals there, but he's handled it very, very well, and he has opened up one of the biggest, well, easily the biggest leads we've seen this summer in any race, anywhere, anytime. Shannon Eckstein is putting on an absolute clinic and showing that he's not done. I think I said too old, too slow a couple of rounds ago. He's not too old, he's not too slow. Ali Day throws his legs over the side. He's in too much trouble at this point. He's gone sideways, he's riding it like a bucking bronco. He's managed to keep it upright, and that's that safety first option Ali Day always does. It's probably better for him to finish second and keep his overall series lead than it is for him to try and win the race by taking risky options.
Well, Shannon Eckstein, he's got himself through the first half of the M-shape enduro on the ski. That's where he came unstuck up at Coolum, so he's probably very happy that he managed to hold on there and keep his lead while Ali Day is still working hard and chasing behind.
Jackson Maynard gets one as well. He'll have no problems negotiating this. Tough stuff on the way home, but he seems to have broken away from the likes of Matt Poole, and maybe that comes down, and Jai Timperley as well, and maybe that comes down to those 5 or 6 extra strokes he took before that giant wave came through. Poole is on one and down and working his way through the field strong. We're riding with him here. See, sucking in the deep breaths, surveying everything, trying to look which way to go. Where is everyone? Who can I catch and who can I try and deal with? Matt Bevel-Akwa has had an unbelievable ski leg. He was outside the top 10. He's paddled himself almost inside the top 6 with just one ski leg. Great stuff from the Tasmanian.
Well, Maynard up and running. He'll run around the transition pole and make sure he heads back out really quickly because this chase pack is right on his tail. Any mistakes here, not getting on your ski quick enough and getting out through the break could cost him precious positions in this series.
The defending series champion can feel defending his title going away. And the man in the front, Jack, you called it for Lizzie Wellborn. You said it was over. Shannon Eckstein has to punch through this one. It sends him backwards. Oh, he goes off the side. So a mistake, a rare mistake from Shannon Eckstein there, but like he does, he gets back on, he rectifies it, he puts it straight, and he doesn't make the same mistake twice. I was going to ask you whether it was over because he never screws things up like he did then, but maybe he's just opened the door for Ali Day, and he is getting punished at the moment. Fairhaven is saying you can't have it this easily, Shannon Eckstein, and they just keep laying it on. You can see him put the power on. He goes up and over one. He's almost in green water. He goes up and over a second one, and he makes his way through the break there, so testing times. He's through the break, the gap's halved, and there's another one. He's had to roll. Oh my God, what about that? That was a giant wave, and just like that, Ali Day's been brought back into it. So sometimes it's not the competitors that beat you, it's Mother Nature, and it looks like Shannon Eckstein's copping a beating from Mother Nature.
Well, he could be hit by another one here. Ali Day sees his window, so the gap that was almost 150, 200 metres long is now only 20 metres. Ali Day is back up onto the tail of Shannon Eckstein and can really taste victory now.
The test for Shannon Eckstein will be how he settles down. A couple of waves like that, they're going to send the heart rate through the roof. You're going to be stressing about holding onto your ski. Where are my competitors? Where's Ali Day? If he can manage to drop the heart rate, go back into making good, solid decisions as Jackson Maynard is up and over in third place. Jai Timperley there. It looks like James Lacey and Matt Poole haven't gone away either. So the race for third place is looking like the most interesting one. But out in front, Shannon Eckstein, if he can settle down again, he's still got a big lead as they make their way in, and Max Brooks is getting absolutely pummeled by the Fairhaven swell. He has been belted over and over and over again. The man who was in third place at one point is now edging outside the top 10 with plenty of work to do. So we've gone the final turn. They're on the way home, and just like the women's race, it's going to come down to the final ski leg. The greatest of all time and his heir apparent, Ali Day, who will claim round 4 of the Nutri Ironman series, who will get the psychological edge. A win for Ali Day could wrap up the series. A win from Shannon Eckstein keeps his hopes of a 10th series title alive, and look at him put the power down. He knows it's here or now or never, if he wants to claim round 4.
Well, Ali Day coming through on a run, and it's the runs out in the ocean that Shannon Eckstein wants, because he does not want a run up the beach. If it comes down to the legs, we know Ali Day will get him, and the boys have joined up on the same wave. So Shannon Eckstein and Ali Day, the rating goes up. Ali Day could sneak underneath Shannon, but he hasn't, and Shannon now is running on the back of this little wave, which could be enough to keep him away from Ali Day.
Pure grit, pure determination. He didn't stop paddling. He's going to try and paddle over the top of this wave. Ali Day let it go. He looked for another one. Shannon Eckstein just put the power down and said, thank you very much. This is all I need. I don't need a wave. I just need 2 arms, 2 legs and a heartbeat, and he's got the heart the size of Far Lap. Shannon Eckstein has paddled away from one of the best in the business here, and could it be enough? I think he's going to paddle over the top of it. It's shades of Clint Robinson from the 90s. He's gone over the top of a wave, and it could just be enough. The back markers are coming through. Kendrick Louis has come from the clouds. Matt Poole's there. Jai Timperley as well. That's the race for third place, but forget them. Out in front, Shannon Eckstein. He's on the sand. He's done enough. They've shown him the potholes, and as long as he doesn't trip over, he will claim a huge victory. He is not done with yet. His career's not over. Like a fine wine, he keeps getting better with age, and Shannon Eckstein is back, bigger and better than ever at Fairhaven Beach. He is your round 4 champion of the Nutri Ironman series.
Well, some have called him too old, too slow, but Shannon Eckstein is your winner here at Fairhaven Beach, and well done, Shannon. The skills were unbelievable. His heart is massive, and Ali Day runs through for a second place.
And what about the race for third place here? Kendrick Louis has come from the clouds, a big final ski leg. Speaking of heart, Ali Day, he made that way closer than it should have been. Jackson Maynard gets his best finish in a long time. A great performance there from him. Luke Cuff as well, Matt Poole and Jai Timperley, his best result ever in a Nutri-Grain Ironman Series round. James Lacey keeps his great run this summer going, but that's unbelievable stuff. Just when you think maybe Shannon's done, he bites back, and when he bites back, he bites like a pit bull. Shannon Eckstein on top in round 4 of the Nutri-Grain Ironman Series. I know we've seen it before, but this is a special one for him. Ali Day keeps his series lead and, well, puts one more hand maybe on the overall series trophy. Kendrick Louis, Maynard and Cuff. We head further down the page. Max Brooks faded, and the rest of the field down to finesse.
Here we are. This is the Kellogg's Nutri-Grain round 4, and we have our champion here. Welcome back, Shannon Eckstein.
Yeah, cheers. It's been a rough start to the series, but yeah, it's nice to get back on top of the podium. I felt the last, first 3 rounds, I was there, but I wasn't really that interested, to tell you the truth. I didn't feel the nerves or anything, and I just wanted to try and get that over the Christmas New Year period. I spent some good time with my family and realised, this is my job. I need to really turn up and race. And I really loved today. The surf was great, so I didn't make any mistakes like at Coolum. I lost my ski. I thought today just go through it like you. A young 18-year-old really frothing to be out there.
Yeah, let's talk about the conditions. And as an athlete who's been around for many years as well, it's great to race in these conditions.
Yeah, it definitely is. Swim first. I just wanted to get out in front and give yourself every opportunity to get a wave in that swim. And I got to the second swim leg, I got a wave. And then once I get clear water in front, you can pick and choose where you want to go and use whatever rips you want. And it was all working there. That last ski leg, I got hit by a few. I thought I was out the back. I thought I was home and hose, and I had to roll a big bomb. So, it's never over in this sort of racing.
Mate, we thought you were home and hose as well, but let's talk about that. Obviously going around the cans, I think it was about a 4-second lead on Ali coming home, and then a wave together. So it was a tight finish.
Yeah, it was. Ali and I are probably not the quickest up the beach, so it would have been a good race for us. But I pulled a little runner through that gutter. And I think Ali, he said something there like, "Oh, sorry, you deserve to win that." So maybe he sort of pulled up and thought, Shannon deserves this one.
And final question, mate, how does it feel to be back top of the podium for a race?
Yeah, as I said, the first 3 rounds, I was there in spirit, but I didn't really feel like I was that into it, and I didn't have that passion to try and race these guys, and they want to knock me off every time I race. So, it's nice to get that passion back and really stay on top and enjoy the sport.
Mate, you're a true champion of the sport. It's great to have you back. Outstanding performance. On behalf of everyone here of Ocean 6 and Kellogg's, well done.
Cheers, thanks.
When you come at the king, you best not miss, and I think these guys have missed an opportunity to put Shannon Eckstein out of the series. He is back, and he is in this one up to his eyeballs, but Ali Day on top of the overall point score. The rest of the field's got a lot of work to do with 2 rounds to go. That is the Nutri-Grain Ironman Series wrapped up for round 4. There's just Surfers Paradise and North Cronulla left, but coming up after the break, plenty more action from the Ocean 6. We go to the beach with the men's and women's beach flag.